Ahoy, adventurers! Who's ready to have some fun? Who's ready to take out some mythical beasts? Who's ready to get sweaty with a big sword? Who's ready to crack open the chest, see what's inside there? Who's ready to have their voice known via the bag that tells no tales? We're going to see it all in the next 60 minutes. Right here, my friends. On the Gaming Galleon. I'm Cap'n Raz. Just a, average, humdrum, casual gamer. People take video games so seriously these days. Everybody's gotta be in a tournament, or everybody's gotta know every little bit about a franchise. Look, I just play what I like, and if I like it, I share it with you each and every week. That's how I celebrate gaming, alright? Celebrate it with me right here on the Galleon. Starting now, we're going to be leaving the boat soon to head out to the Dark Lands of Semia. Is that right? I swear this is like the 5th time I've checked the pronunciation on this. Semia. Yeah, we've been hitting some pretty cushy voyages lately, going to conventions and, playing NES games and, just easy stuff. Let's really get out there to high fantasy adventure. The kind of stuff that video games were meant to be back in the 80s. Because back in the 80s, the early 80s, the main inspiration for these developers were, D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. So all these games of the time had mythical beasts and, big buff dudes kicking butt, and that's exactly what we're celebrating today with Rastan. For my God, can you believe it? The Sega Master System. Now, right out of the box, let's take a look at that. You got Rastan, who's a barbarian, a bounty hunter. In this, he's tasked to save a princess. Many of you who may know the arcade, well, some of you, may be like, whoa, 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 whoa. In the arcade, a princess hired him to cut the head off a dragon and bring it back to her. I know, and that's way awesome. But for whatever reason, the story was changed a little bit for the Sega Master System. Cap'n Raz, Sega Master System, how did we pull this off? Isn't that a little obscure? It is, and this is actually the first time we've been able to play a Sega Master System, and we have two very generous crewmen out there to thank. The first one is B-Slax, capital B, capital B, S-L-A-X, and the second one is Bullet _ and _ tears. And they were both nice enough to put a little money in our booty, put a little booty in our money, put a little booty in their chest, put a little of their booty in our booty. And we were just doing a stream. They put a little money toward it, and at the time I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this money, guys. This is very generous, but I'm not sure what to do. And after a while, it occurred to me, wait a minute. There's that thing that just showed up that Hyperkin just released. And here it is. It's the Retron 5 3-in-1 adapter. Now, if you don't know, the Navigator, which brings us to all the magical lands and locations we go to each week, in this case, the Dark Lands of Semia, the Navigator figures out the coordinates via the software we pump into the Navigator. And we have a PlayStation 3 hooked up. We got an Xbox 360 hooked up. We got a Wii hooked up. And we have a Retron 5 hooked up for the myriad of carts out there. However, what we were not able to do through the Retron 5 was the Sega Master System. We have a power base converter for all you nerds out there who know what that is, but unfortunately ours overheats. So we've never been able to do Sega Master System until now, thanks to B-Slax and Bullet _ and _ tears. We were able to pick this guy up. It was expensive, but I actually had 20% off at the store. So between their donations and a rather generous discount, we were able to pick this guy up. Now it says 3-in-1. What else do we get to do here? In addition to the Master System games, which incidentally go right up there in the top, you've got two other slots on the sides. One slot being the size of about a credit card. And that's for credit card Sega Master System games. For whatever reason, the Sega Master System had two different formats. It had like a usual cart, if you think like a Nintendo cart or a Famicom cart. That's what it looks like. Maybe I'll pop it out at the end of the show and give you a look. And they came packaged very much like a Sega Genesis game. Like so. With a little black and white manual. Like so. But you could also find a thinner Master System, almost like a credit card. I don't have one of those right now, so I can't show you. But it was a very small, and Master Systems had, as a result, had two ports. Had a slot for the cartridge games and a slot for the credit card games. And I don't know how many of those credit card games there were, but there weren't many. So it was really weird that they went to the trouble. And I think eventually, when they re-released the Master System, they just cut out the credit card thing altogether. But it doesn't matter to us. Now we can play either one via the 3-in-1 adapter. As for the third type of cartridge that fits in this guy, got one here. I'm really excited to announce that in addition to the Master System games, we'll now be able to travel to Game Gear country. That's Donald Duck's Lucky Dime Caper, a game I've never played. Always really wanted to because I like Donald Duck. But the Game Gear on the big screen, up until 2 months ago, before this thing came out, was not to be heard of. You couldn't do it. You had to emulate. That Sega never released any sort of adapter like the Super Game Boy that allowed you to play your handheld Sega Game Gear games on the big screen. So now we have the luxury of doing that as well. And we do have a nice collection of Game Gear games, so we'll be able to look forward to that in the future. But I figured we'd start with Rastan, basically because I think it was the first Master System game that I really, really wanted to play all the way back when we first started our voyages throughout the Silicon Seas, roughly 2 years ago. How are we doing on time? So yeah, Rastan, there's not much to it. It started in the arcade. I and the other guys here around the crew have been fortunate enough to play the arcade mode locally. There's an arcade machine around here, and it's a lot of fun, but it's interesting because it's unlimited continues in the arcade until you get to the last level. And the game is, as hard as most arcade games. They can be really unfair. Monsters are appearing out of nowhere and, taking way too much life, or, they're ganging up on you. Typical arcade stuff. But in the last level of Rastan for the arcade, you actually have to complete it without continues. So you got to make sure you get there with 3 lives. And then you got to be able to make your way all the way through the level to the end boss and finish them. We do have a friend who has done it. If you've seen some of our songs that we do now and then, the gentleman who usually sits here and strums the guitar, Josh, is actually so good at Rastan that he actually beat it legitimately. Taken months, but he kept plugging away on the arcade machine and beat it. I have a feeling this Master System game is not as hard, but I don't know if this one has continues. So that would lead me to believe it would be kind of difficult. I haven't gotten to play it much, and the reason I haven't played it much is I got it with, you know what, let's just get into the game. Alright, let's get started. It's Rastan for the Sega Master System, and one big thank you to B-Slacks and Bullet_and_tears. The harp, if you please. The harp, if you please. Let us now transition to the Dark Lands of Semia in Rastan for the Sega Master System. Alright, we've already got a little demo going on here. Let me kill that. There we go. Rastan. Rastan, if you'd like. Made by Taito, one of my favorite companies of all time. They always made the hits. You're gonna love this music. Oh, so I don't know how far I'm gonna get because I haven't gotten to play this much. Well, that's not true. I could play it a lot. I just haven't been lately. When I first got it, I was really excited. Wow, what a day that was. I was at a thrift store in the middle of the day. Oh! Oof, that was close. And lo and behold, they had on the wall... What? I can't hear you. What? Oh my god, I'm sorry. Thank you. Sorry, everybody. Let's, Can I, I'm gonna reboot this. Hold on a second. I remembered audio, I didn't remember video. So that'll be 10:30. Okay. Okay, here we go. Let me get this on here. Rastan. There we go. Made by Taito, one of my favorite companies. They made a bunch of amazing arcade games back in the day, and now, well, okay, now, PlayStation 2, they made some amazing compilations. Taito Legends 1 and 2. Pick those up if you can. And Rastan actually didn't make it to those compilations. Rastan's kind of hard to find at home. I believe if you import the European version of Taito Legends 2, you can get Rastan. As a result, of course, that's a really expensive game, so you're gonna have a hard time with that. Look at Harpies! But the Master System, ooh, has a pretty competent version. Oh, come on. Ah! And I remember when I got this version, it was like, what a crazy day. It was like midday, I think I was out of work, and I stopped at this thrift store, and here on the wall was like a dozen Sega Master System games in the box, all in plastic bags hung on the shelf for, you know, somewhere between $2 to $4. And Rastan was like the one I think I was definitely the most excited about, because you've got that artwork of the barbarian there, and all these crazy beasts coming at him. Ah! Alright, I'm just gonna have to jump over there. What else was there? I think there was like, oh, come on. Like RC, World RC or something, RC game. I don't even remember the rest of them, really. I just remember how excited I was to play this, and unfortunately, my power base converter, if you don't know what that is it's this adapter that you can plug into a Sega Genesis. It was made back in the 90s when Sega Genesis was out, and you could buy this adapter made by Sega, pop it in the top of your Sega Genesis, and you can play Master System games. We got a Centaur here. Oh boy. I'm trying to stick and move this guy. sucked. God, can I get some health? Oh, what? What, was I poisoned? Continue. Oh, that was so cheap. What happened there? Well, now I'm just gonna rock him. So yeah, my power base converter, for whatever reason, it overheats. So I wasn't able to get very far in Rastan without the damn thing resetting on me. Now to this day, we've been able to track down some actual Master System hardware. We've got a Master System 1 and 2. But, you know, with the Galleon and whatever other adventures I have going on, it's kind of rare for me to sit down with the old Master System. And I really, you know, I want to thank our crew out there who put a little doubloon toward the ship to upgrade it. So now we can putter around with these Master System games together. And I gotta tell you, I'm really looking forward to it. And the Game Gear. Game Gear has some pretty good stuff. And I remember, like, the Master System I had no experience with as a kid. No one I knew had it. I believe I saw one at a Sears once. Or like maybe a service merchandise. But as for like going over to somebody's house and playing a Master System, I don't think that ever happened to me. But whenever when I moved to Indianapolis, though, it was like, I don't know if it was really big here or what, but I've since been able to find a really nice collection. Both systems. Now the power base converter, I think I got in Connecticut at a garage. Oh, kind of a Craigslist deal. And it came with a few games like Shinobi and Outrun. But the rest I have all amassed here and relatively cheaply. It's pretty cool. I don't know how we're doing on time, but oh, come on. Alright, we'll stop there. Continue, please. Okay, we'll stay right there. This is interesting that I can, am I starting? I think we'll be right. It's interesting that I can pause here. I'm using the Retron 5, obviously, and a Sega Genesis controller. But if you're playing authentically on a Master System, you don't have that luxury of pausing via the controller. Because the Master System has, it looks a lot like a black Nintendo controller. Original Nintendo controller. I don't have one here. But it looks very similar to one of these guys. Except for one huge omission. The Sega Master System controllers did not have a start and a select button. It just had the two, it had button 1, button 2, and the D-pad. Can you imagine that? So you're like, well, how do you pause it? Well, the pause button is on the machine. Oh, I have a Master System. Hold on, let me show you. Hold on. This is worth showing. It's so ridiculous. I don't know what they were thinking. This guy's broken. I picked him up a while back, but you've got these buttons here. One of them's reset. That makes sense. Reset your game. But then here's your pause button. On the system? What were they thinking? You know? So kind of a definitely a downfall. Definitely downer. Hi, pirate. Hi, how are you? Okay, so have a seat, have a drink in the mess hall. Push over your the pirates who have fallen asleep during the show, and get settled in for the booty segment. I don't know how much is in here, but there is some good stuff, and there's a couple of real gems at the end. So let's get started. This was a deal a while back, a long time back, that's been just kind of sitting on hold in a bag. I don't really remember what's in there, save a couple items. But this was a pawn shop deal, and I think we got away pretty good. All right, so let's take a look. We're looking at PlayStation 1 games. When's the last time you had played some PlayStation 1 games? These are always fun. I think there might be some other goodies in here too, but these were all pretty cheap. There wasn't much of a talk up here. This is actually Bismuth kind of ran the deal here, and when he runs it, he usually makes pretty good deals. So I wasn't really going to haggle at this point. I was just going to let him do his thing, make the money where he needed to, and I would grab the games when I needed them. So here we are. A really beat up copy of Siphon Filter 3. I am not a fan of the Siphon Filter series, and these games, for whatever reason, are everywhere. Everybody seemed to like this. This is kind of a beat up disc. Probably works though. No manual. Looks like this was a single disc game. For whatever reason, it came in a double discer though. I don't really know why they would do that. So I don't know. Siphon Filter, I always thought it was pretty overrated. Okay, next one here. An Xbox game, original Xbox game, called the Nightcaster 2 Equinox. And I believe this is a 2-player twin stick action RPG. Yeah, and that's pretty hot. If you've ever played Gauntlet Dark Legacy, twin stick shooter style, Robotron style, that's what you're looking at here, and that's a lot of fun. I think he gave us this, because now I remember he's like, yeah, and I had this, but the disc is missing. That sucks, because it looks like a fun game. I know this is an expensive game, so maybe we'll come across it one day with the disc, and we'll be good to go. She looks pretty creepy, huh? Yeah. Alright, lady, switch to decaf. Alright. Next one here. Greatest hits version of Tomorrow Never Say Die. This is this whole stack I remember being full of badassery. We're not going to be finding any JRPGs in this one. This is all pretty much guns and explosions, secret agents and whatnot. The most complete Bond experience. I'll be the judge of that. Not particularly excited about that one. Tony Hawk Pro Skater, great game. Great game. I was just playing this with a couple of crewmen last weekend. Great soundtrack, still holds up. A little beat up, but I think that'll be okay. We have it on Dreamcast. I don't think we have it on PS1, so that's cool. 24 of the game. I don't know. This show was way too intense for me. Are you into it? Maybe? I don't know. LA is Under Attack, featuring the voices and likenesses of most major characters, including Kiefer Sutherland. So there you go. You're good to go. Relentless action. I don't know. Really interesting to see how they would format this, because I remember 24, they would have like a bunch of different windows going at the same time. So I wonder if you're jumping from window to window, taking on the action. I don't know. It's made by 2K. What did they make? Borderlands? Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2. Depending on the month, this game is either hot as hotcakes or dead on arrival. But we got this one pretty cheap. Everything we're looking at here, I'm relatively sure we got for under $1. We'll make the total at the end here, because I've got the receipt. Like I said, it's been a while back. This one brings back old memories. I didn't even know that you can play this on your own. There is a single player side. Fight for both sides in single player mode that plunges you into war. Yada yada yada. Battlefield Modern Combat was kind of the game that I moved on to after I realized I didn't really like Star Wars Battlefront 2. And I didn't play this very much, but it had some pretty cool vehicles, especially land vehicles. Pretty fun arenas. I remember there was kind of like a desert city in one, and tanks and choppers and yada yada. Not a bad game. Sadly, it's offline. A jam pack. I always love these. May have 4 of these in the hold for all I know. Summer of 2003. There's just too many of these to even count. But I love these demo discs. This one's got War of the Monsters, Amplitude, ATV Odd Fury, Jet X2O, MLB 2004, World Tour Soccer 2003, Tom Clancy, Splinter Cell, Jack 2. Oh no, that's just a video. So just those 7 games. I don't know. War of the Monsters and Amplitude's okay. Alright, so there you go. There's a demo disc for you. And obviously we have all those games, the full versions, but Star Wars Battlefront. Let's track down a case for this. I may even have one. Good shape. Looks like it'll play. And that's the Battlefront to play, in my opinion. This is Army Men World at War. Land, Sea, Air. There's a lot of these games out there. This one looks like it's land, sea, and air. So you're piloting a helicopter, a bomber. You're on land for some of these. You're in the jungle. You're in the sea. Typical Army crap. What's this guy? Huh. This is weird. So Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX I see all the time. I don't think I've ever seen this. Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX Maximum Remix. Maximum Remix includes the best-selling Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX game, plus an expert mode, some new guys to play as, 10-player multiplayer games with your friends. Right, there's like you could use this as a music CD, listen to Rancid, Pennywise, and then 8 new free roaming environments. Okay, so this is just more levels, I guess. More levels, more modes, music. Okay, huh. I don't think this came out for anything aside from PlayStation. I've never even heard of it. Fascinating. It's interesting. Days before DLC, huh? Okay, we got more here. NBA Shootout 98, that's a snooze. Army Men Air Attack 2. So this looks like a jungle strike kind of thing. Although this looks like it takes place in someone's living room. Some of these Army Men games, they take place in realistic settings. Sometimes they'll take place in like a kid's bedroom. This one I'm seeing like jack-o'-lanterns and stuff. And it's all co-op, so that's always fun. Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back. I think the only one of these I ever played was Warped. Played through Warped. This appears to be on a 2... Is there another game back here? No. Okay. It's in like a replacement case here. I might fix that, but everything seems to be there. So that's cool. Oops. Don't worry. Don't worry, it's nothing good. It's just a stupid racing game. Kart World Series. How many of these are out there for the PlayStation 1? I dare to guess Need for Speed 3 Hot Pursuit. Okay. Oh boy. NFL Game Day. Some of these I don't even know why I picked up. I just grabbed them. Just grabbed the whole kit and caboodle. Let him put a price tag on them. Air Combat. This is originally the first of the long-running Ace Combat series. They're still making those today, I believe. And then probably the coolest piece of the lot. This is the Army Men Gold collector's set. These things actually go, when you can find them like this, they go for way more than the 3 games that you just find them separately. This has Army Men 3D, which I believe is the first game in the entire Army Men series, which is saying a lot. There were so many of those games. Army Men Air Attack, and Army Men Surge's Heroes. So it's pretty cool to find this. I believe I have all these loose, so we'll probably be getting rid of the loose ones and keeping that guy. So after that, there was 1, 2, 3, 4. Does this count as 6? 6 games? 6 games. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Let's make that 20 because there's no game in here. And Nightcaster. Alright. So 20 games. Biz worked his magic. And of course I lost the receipt. But that's okay. I looked at it before the show. I know we got that for all that together for $14.76. Not bad at all, huh? Well, that's almost 50 cents a game, somewhere around there, 75 cents a game maybe. So pretty hot stuff, not a bad deal. Okay, a couple other things. Just got lucky today. A couple things that we found today. I was stopping at a thrift store and Salvation Army, and just around a bunch of CDs. They had this guy sitting like this, and I could tell, oh, that's definitely a DS game. Booyah! It's Grand Theft Auto China Wars for the DS. What a great game! I played this all the way through. Best part about it is, and sometimes you'll come across a car and it'll be locked, and you gotta hotwire it by, and that like a little mini game on the touchscreen will show up, and you're like having to move wires here and there before the car starts up. It's pretty cool. This is a great game. And then at another store we found this guy. This is a for $4 there, $3.93. We found this Game Boy Advance game in the box. Game Boy Advance games in the box don't really impress me. Frankly, I think that's just a lot of space for one itty bitty little thing. But I heard it sounded like there's more than one game in there. So I opened it up. You got the instructions here to Monster Trucks and Quad Desert Fury, 2-in-1 game. You've got Galleon, which I believe is based off of some sort of cartoon. Frogger Adventures, Temple of the Frog. We already have this. And then to my shock, delight, and dismay. No dismay. Shock and delight. Found the very rare, very hard to find. I know you don't see that, but trust me, it says Car Battler Joe. Car Battler Joe by Natsume. This is an open world, post-apocalyptic, molecular combat RPG. I bought it when it came out because I thought it sounded so cool. And since the game, I guess the game did not have a lot of print. So now this game goes somewhere between $30 to $60. So this was a great find. Even just to have a backup with the one I have is pretty awesome. So yeah, very, very good find right there. All right, so that's all we got for the booty segment today. Let's get back to Rastan. We've got a little extra time with Rastan today. And then after that, we will address your comments, concerns, questions, and whatnot via the bag that tells no tales here in the back. So get your questions ready, or if you want to put one in the mess hall, if you're here live with me, drinking up some grog and hanging out with your buddies, feel free to leave a question at the end of the show, and we'll address it live. Okay, let's get back to it. It's the legendary Rastan for the Sega Master System. It's hard to say. I'm just not used to saying it. All right, here we go. So this is something they didn't have in the arcade. Looks like there's some sort of inventory screen here. Tell you what kind of gear you have. That's pretty hot. All right. I'm trying to take this seriously here. Oh my god. Ah! That wasn't very good. Comes the downward thrust, baby. Eat your heart out, Link. Whew. Now, we were talking about the Tato Legends compilations earlier. Tato Legends 2 has the original Rastan on it. No, Tato Legends... Wait, does Tato Legends have Rastan on it? It might. I think I'm wrong. I think Rastan's here available in America via Tato Legends, because I think Bismuth had a copy of it. And he was like, oh man, I'm going to keep this. It's got Rastan on it. And then he was nice enough to give it to me for Christmas. So you can get it here in America for a reasonable price if your local arcade doesn't have it. And I suggested it. I mean, the music's great. You gotta love the environments. The arcade one obviously looks a lot better than the Master System one. But the Master System one, I don't think it's no slouch. How do I get that? Ugh. It's nighttime. But what you do want to avoid is the Rastan Saga, which was on the sequel. Rastan Saga is on Tato Legends 2. Oh my gosh. Why is it so dark? Can I get, like, some health? There's armor. Oh, it's gone. Oh my gosh. I made it to the castle. Whew. Okay, good. Rastan Saga was on Sega Genesis as well. It's got some pretty decent box art. So you're going to be like, wow, this looks awesome. I'm hoping I have unlimited continues. But trust me, Rastan Saga in the arcade, and on any compilation you can remake you can find it on is pretty awful. So I think that's probably why Rastan isn't around anymore. You just had a bad sequel. That happens. And it's usually enough to wreck a franchise for, like, ever. I don't see Tato ever bringing old Rastan back. I don't even know what Tato... I don't think they're around anymore, are they? Which is really distressing to think that the creators of Space Invaders, like, you know, the pioneers of gaming. Is that bread? Should have looked at the items in the instruction manual. Sad to think that they're gone. After all the games they made. Oh, no. No! I see the doors right there. Oh! Not my day. Oh my gosh. You gotta be kidding me. Come on, get him in the ankle armor. Oh my gosh. Oh, no. That's it, really? Alright, that's it. That's it. We'll wrap it there. We'll wrap it there. Yikes. What are we doing here? Coming back. Alright, we're back. We're back and we're really light. I'm trying to think of how I'm going to fill time here, but that's what you guys... That's where you guys come in. You come in with the bag that tells no tales. Let me get my cat here. I don't even want to look at what's going on over here in the mess hall, because obviously when you have plenty of time to devote to the mess hall, that's when all the jackasses show up, right? Right? That's the story of my life. Let's see what we got here. Alright. I like your beard. That comes from Fat Boy Slim Part 2. Okay, I thought that was a fat guy joke at first. Fat Boy Slim's good. Thank you. The beard is just that's just laziness, okay? I know a lot of guys are really proud of their beards. They're like, you know, they're very, very proud of it. It's just, I don't want to talk to the barber, okay? That's all it is. You got this guy here, the hobo Part 4. Looks like he's probably left already, but he left a little note here. You gotta love these guys who just show up and they're like, answer me. I'm a troll, I'm a jackass. Answer me. Pay attention to me. Mommy didn't love me. Maybe you will? But let's see what he has to say. He says, you a nice wanker. He didn't say nice. Who does a pokey bum wank. Okay. Great. And he also hopes I get hit by a car. Alright, well, I'm out in water, baby. We're out in Semia. The Dark Lands of Semia. So, that's not going to happen. You lose. Alright, that's it from over there. Got Mr. Prawn saying ahoy. Ahoy to you, sir. Let's go back to the bag here. Maybe there'll be a decent question to wrap up with here. This could be the shortest voyage ever. That happens sometimes. Alright. Actually, it's never happened. Here we go. How ironic that we would get this question now. This is from B Neutron. He says, why the strict time limit? I think it adds tension. Everything adds tension. This is also, you know, this is my thank you to shows like Star Trek, shows like Mystery Science Theater, shows like The Love Boat, believe it or not, The Love Boat, travel shows, Fantasy Island. You know, they had these all-encompassing adventures that would take you away to somewhere magical in 60 minutes. You know, and it all had to wrap up toward the end. This is probably written by someone who hasn't seen the channel before. That happens a lot. People walk in and they say, what is this? And then they walk out content with their ignorance, I guess. Mad that I'm not answering them. You know, what are you going to do? That's just how it is. But, yeah, initially, ever since the beginning of the conception of the show, I always knew it would be an hour. Again, that comes from, like, the video games. I equate that to when, you know, Bozo the Clown or Pee Wee Herman would shove you off to a cartoon for a minute or two. I always wanted that to be a part of the show. That whole what cartoons are going to be on the show this week. So that's where our video games come from. That's it. That's the only reason there's a strict time limit. Again, I grew up during the broadcast era. Maybe a lot of people, especially on Twitch and YouTube, are used to the watch as long as I want era. It was different then. You knew when your adventure was going to end. You knew when your excitement and your fantasy and your escape were going to end. And that's the same way here for the most part. Except for today. We're really, really late. That's all I got for today. I think we're going to wrap it up here. Let's do one more question. Why not? One more. We got time. We got time. All right. Let's see here. You got time? Run them, right? All right. Here we go. This is from Ugmo1. And Ugmo1 says, "So someone explain this show to me. Is it a talk show or something?" I feel like I just did that. This is ridiculous. I'll just say it's a show about a pirate ship. Where we stand before you. What you see before you, okay? And I am a gamer who just happened to inherit this pirate ship through a bet. And ever since then, I take my massive video game collection, put it onto the ship, in the hold, and each week, you and I explore one of those games together. And through the magic of the navigator we have, hooked up to the ship's propulsion systems, by some sort of miracle, this game transmits coordinates to the navigator and brings us to these interesting lands that we explore through gaming. So right now, just outside the ship, we're docked, but, you're seeing stuff like lizard men walking around and, what's those things with a lion and a goat's head? What's that called again? I don't know. All the crap you see in Rastan is right outside our door because we're in the Dark Lands of Semia. And each week, we could be somewhere as mystical as this, or somewhere as mundane as your own hometown. You never really know where we're going to end up. And that's what this show's all about. It's about adventure. It's about exploration. It's about booty. Because what adventure would be complete without some treasure? And it's about having a good time with your friends. And that's who you guys are to me. A bunch of friends. So I think that's it. We'll leave it on that note. Thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out with me. And hopefully next week I can get you a little longer of a show. Things just kind of fell apart a little bit. Mainly my skills in Rastan. And I didn't expect three continues. But now I know, because I'm used to the arcade version where it's just unlimited. So now I know. Live and learn. Thanks for coming. We'll see you next time. Let me get my drink here. Right over here. It's not far. But I'm in no mood to run. Alright. So we'll see you next time. For adventure, for laughs, and maybe a little booty. So until then, farewell and adieu to ye Spanish maidens. Farewell and adieu, ye ladies of Spain. For we received orders for to hang out with Rastan. And we may never see ye fair ladies all gone. That was probably a 40-minute show. Usually like to keep it between 50 and an hour. What a train wreck. Keep your powder dry, mateys.